Have you ever been told that you're not enough or that you're too much? How did it feel? Did you feel really energized and empowered and appreciated and valued, so much so that you said, yeah, I can show up with all my power and confidence? Most likely not. Hi, I'm Dr. Greg Nelson, and in this episode, I'm talking about how to bring your most authentic self to work. Let's define what authenticity is. Authenticity is essentially my need, your need, to be able to show up in the places of the world as your complete self. And not just show up, but to have that complete self appreciated, valued, respected, and honored. And then the self that shows up brings with it a unique voice. And so authenticity always leads to this opportunity to share this voice, and the need then is to have our unique voice heard and valued. Almost makes me wonder how many of us actually experience this in the workplace, of all places. When I was a kid, about 10, 11 years old, my mom made an innocent statement to me. She said, "Greg, I wish you could be more organized like your brother." Well, that was an interesting thought, because what I heard, she didn't mean it to hurt me, but what I heard was, I am not enough the way I am. I need to be more like my brother. So that sent me on a journey for the next 10 years of trying to mimic my brother in all these ways, especially when it came to organization. And then one of my early professional opportunities, I had a leader pull me aside. We were in a high-level conversation about the strategic visioning and strategic planning with our organization. And in that conversation, I said to him, man, this is just not something I do well. It's just not my thing. And he looked at me and he said, "Greg, I never want to hear you say that again." And then for the next 10 minutes, he told me all these stories that he had observed in me about how I was exactly the thing that I had said I was not. And his stories were so truthful that something in me aligned with that. And I realized that I'd been operating off this false identity for all these years. And that was a turning point for me, where I saw another part of who I am, and I was able to embrace it thanks to the encouragement of this friend. That's why it's important for us to understand our authenticity. And in the workplace especially, because our authenticity leads to all kinds of diversity. It creates it joins with the diversity of our team or the other people in our organization. And when we are all bringing our unique, authentic selves together to collaborate, the innovation and the creativity skyrockets, because those are the two qualities you most need to have innovation. So let me suggest 3 things that you can do to bring your most authentic self into the workplace. The first is a tool, the next are steps. Number 1, tool, know yourself. In other words, what is your authentic self? What does that mean? Who are you really? My encouragement is to take as many of the assessments, personality and other kinds of assessments that you can, because each one unveils another little piece of your unique self. That's why I love the strengths. Gallup's Clifton Strengths, for example, it talks about how my brain is wired with these unique natural preferences. But there are other assessments like Myers-Briggs, which is just temperament sorter. It helps me understand more of my personality. There's the Enneagram, which helps me understand how I tend to approach stress in my life or most of the activities of my life. These assessments are tools that help us look through a window that leads to our authentic selves. So when we take these, we look at them and then we put them together and to see what are the common elements here, the common themes. So I know, for example, from the strengths, that I am a strategic thinking influencer. Well, that's important to know about me because that's my place of highest energy. So for me to be authentic, I must leverage that part of me. My personality is as an idealist, which means that I think creatively, I always am looking for metaphors and analogies to understand things. And I'm motivated most by the opportunity to communicate and be seen and to see others in meaningful ways. And the list goes on. With each assessment, you get another layer of who you are. So you know yourself. And what this takes, my friends, number 2, is strategic stops. That's what my recent book is all about. Carving out purposeful pauses to do things like knowing ourselves. The more I know myself, the more authentic I can become. And here's the reality, friends. Our place of greatest power and greatest influence is in our authenticity. So rather than reducing ourselves when we are being our authentic selves, we're actually empowering ourselves. And we are empowering each other when we give each other permission to be themselves. Number 3, let your voice be heard. When you know what your voice is, don't hold back. Contribute in your own unique and authentic way. And when you do, you will find joy, you will find energy, and you will not be robbing the group of your unique contribution. If you're a leader or manager, I encourage you to allow this kind of self-discovery and maybe even facilitated, bringing in outside experts, to open up windows for the people that report to you to understand themselves. Because when they live in alignment with who they are, that's their place of greatest productivity, greatest confidence, and greatest effectiveness. So you're doing everyone a favor when you choose to emphasize and take note of authenticity. Thanks for listening, watching, and our next episode is going to be about the power of connectedness in the workplace. I hope you'll watch. Thanks for watching today.